Hey guys, this is Mrs. Salceda. I'm here to show you how to complete your work if you missed class for October 16th, which would be Friday, or October 19th, Monday. So you would find the date 10/19 or 10/16. The instructions say, today we will complete a quiz on STEM scopes in Launchpad and fill in the blank activity. The assignments are labeled in STEM scopes as progress, monitoring, assessment, and closing in on science. So these are the two assignments on STEM scopes you'll be completing today. Before you do your quiz, I'd like to review a couple things with you. The first thing I want to remind you is the average speed formula. When we're calculating speed, you need to remember the formula. Speed equals distance divided by time, or S equals D over T. Speed equals distance divided by time. We call this the average speed. When you take the distance and you divide it by the time, that will give you the average speed. It says, this is a problem that you'll see something similar to on the quiz. It says the object traveled 300 centimeters in 1 minute. You need to convert to seconds and calculate the speed. So the object traveled 300 centimeters in 1 minute. So we have our distance and we have our time. But it says that I want you to convert that minute to seconds. So you have to know how many seconds are in a minute. So 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So instead of taking the 300 and dividing it by 1, you're going to convert the minutes to seconds. So it'd be 300 divided by 60. And so you would get your calculator. Take your 300 and divide it by your 60 seconds, your 1 minute. And that'll give you an answer of 5. So the speed for this object was 5 centimeters per second. 5 centimeters per second. So you'll have a question like this on the quiz where we'll give you a minute and you're going to be expected to convert it to seconds. So just remember that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. And then you would convert your minutes to seconds and then divide the distance by the time, like normal. There's just one extra step to do that. The next thing I want to review with you is how to use a graph to calculate speed. This is a very simple graph that we can use to calculate the speed because we're only using 1 point, okay? So you just need to look at this last point here, this last point right here, and we want to know the distance and the time so we can calculate the speed. So you'll put your cursor on that last point, and then you'll slide it to the left and see what number you land on for distance. So in this case, our distance is 40. But we need our time also. To calculate speed, we need our time. So you put your cursor on the point, and then you're going to roll down to see the time. And so our time is 20. So we have our distance. We know that our distance is 40 because if we put our cursor on the point and we slide to the left, we'll land on 40. So our distance is 40 and our time is 20. So we have distance, we have time. All you need to do is calculate the speed. You have your distance, you have your time, you just need to calculate your speed. So you always want to remember your formula. So take your distance, which is 40, and divide it by your time, which is 20. Then you put that in your calculator. Our distance is 40. We're going to divide that by our time, which is 20. We'll get an answer of 2. And so on the quiz, you're going to have about 4 graphs that you're going to have to do this for, and then you're going to compare your speeds of all graphs, all the 4 graphs, and see which one has the greatest speed, okay? So you have to be comfortable doing this. The next thing I want to go over with you is what will make this rope move. What has to happen to make the rope move? So I want you to see, I want you to think about what would make the rope not move, what would have to happen with our forces to make the rope stay still, and then what would have to happen to make the rope move. So you need to imagine you're playing a game of tug of war. In order to make this rope move, one team would have to have more force on their side. If we wanted the rope to stay still and not move or not change motion, then the forces on each side of the rope would have to be equal or balanced. In order for the rope to move, it has to be unbalanced, and unequal force will cause it to move. It doesn't matter how many people are on each side. All that matters is that one side has more force than the other. Because you could have 5 little kids, maybe 3-year-olds pulling on the left, but if you have 2 grown men on the other side, even though there's more people on the kids' side, the grown-ups will have more force, so they'll still win. So it's not about how many people are on each side, it's about how much force is on each side. So now that we've reviewed, I'm going to show you how to get to your quiz. Make sure you have a calculator before you take your quiz. You're going to open up your Launchpad. Once you get into Launchpad, you need to type in STEM scopes. Open it up, and yours will look a lot different than mine, but you're looking for these 2 assignments right here. You're looking for the progress monitoring assessment and the closing in on science. Those are the 2 assignments you're going to complete on STEM scopes. Once you're done, turn this assignment in. If you have any questions, comment on the assignment with your questions.